Hi, welcome back. I have a Hyperv VM machine here. In this virtual server, this is a Windows server. Uh, in this Windows server, I have, let me show you the create thing. So this will show me, this is a 2016 server and it has one VM. I wanted to migrate this to the cloud. So to do that, I can simply install here ASR agent. Okay, that is the Azure site recovery services, and then migrate it. There is another option also, like what you can do is simply go back to the settings of the VM, okay, and find the hard disk. Okay, make sure the hard disk type should be VHDX. Okay, I mean, normally if you create VHDX will be there. Okay, so you need to convert that. In this case, if you see here, I got as the VHDX. Okay, and if you look at if you have see here, it's a 52.8 GB. That means it's the static one, which is a dynamically it will extend with the VHD extension of VHDX. So here 2 points. One is the extension is VHDX, which is not supported as on date of this recording, March 19, 2019. Okay, so you have to convert to a extension called VHD. Okay, so I'm going to convert that from here to this extension. That's what I have done. In fact, I'll show you that command line in a minute. Before that, the point 2. So the first point would be the VHDX is not supported, right? The second one would be the it must be a fixed type. What exactly when I say fixed? So when you normally create any of the virtual machine, for example, let's take ABC of the VM and generation 1, whatever the RAM and networking settings. So if you look at here, it's gonna actually create as a dynamically expanding virtual hard disk. So that means what happens is when you create this, it will be the data will not be there in the hard disk. I hope you know what I'm trying to explain to you. You know it because you should be already have the basic knowledge of the Hyper-V before I touch this as the uh, video making. Okay, so once you have the dynamic, that means it will actually expand until 127 GB. That means as you fill the hard disk, it will expand up to 127. But on the physical machine, it doesn't occupy as it is or on immediate basis. So what we have to do is we have to convert this dynamic to static. That means either I have to choose an option as something called here. If I go back to my hard disk here and say edit, and then I should be choose as the convert to dynamic, or I need to use another command called a fixed command. I should run to the fixed one. So you need to open convert -vhd -path of your VHDX format file to a destination, to a new destination with a VHD format. However, this is the first one, right? I told you, the conversion must be taken VHDX to VHD, and the second one should not be dynamic. It should be a fixed one. So make sure that you should know what is the extension type you want to migrate, and as well as the fixed type should be chosen. Okay. Now once I have the fixed as well as the VHDX to VHD format, so I have already executed this command. Okay, simply you have to change your source of VHDX to destination path, which will take depends on your hard disk size. It might take some time. So for me, it took almost 1.5 hours on a normal standard hard disk, not on a premium one. Okay, when I say premium, not on a SSD. Okay, just the normal magnetic disk. It took for me 1-2 hours time because it has to convert the entire file as it is to VHD. Okay, once I have done that, what I've done is I went here and simply changed my hard disk to VHD, and then I started my VM. So VM is working fine without any problem. Okay, the next step would be so I have this VM which is working fine. So all I have done is just a converted VHDX to VHD, and the point 2 would be the fixed fixed hard disk type to be converted. So that's what I have done. So from here to here, that's why if you see VHD format, it is 127 GB, because the hard disk size what I have chosen is 127 GB. Okay, and if I go to my file explorer of the VM, I should have the same thing. So 127 GB, okay, which is 126.6. And if you look at with the computer management, it gives the exact information. Okay, now all I have done as a best practice, what I have to do is now I'm going to create I'm not just migrating the VM, I'm also making this as my master image. So what I have to do is I have to clean up such a few things, like I should go to the system properties and then remove unused any of the profiles, because that will again consume my data, right? I don't want that, so I'll delete all those in a minute. So this is my current logon. This is a unknown account because the account was not there. Now that means from the users and computers, the account itself not there, but it is occupying the space of 432 MB. Or we would delete that, it doesn't require it. Similar case with the 611 MB, which is showing as the unknown account. So as a best practice, what you can do is reset your local admin password to the known password. Okay, the file can be, directory is empty, that's fine. Okay, has been already deleted. Then I'm just trying to clean the disk, that's it. Okay, I don't want all unwanted things to be uploaded. Yeah, in a minute. Okay, finally it has deleted. And now as the next step, what I have to do is I just click on OK, and everything looks good for me. Now I'm gonna simply migrate. So before migrating, I should do some of the standard steps. Okay, the standard steps are the best practices, okay, what we call as the best practices. So these best practices are applicable whenever you are trying to move your on-premises VM to cloud. Okay, because in on-premises you have a console access. In the cloud you don't have a console, so there are few things that must have to be executed or must have to be set up. So one of them would be the setting the time. Okay, the clock time must be proper, so make sure that the time is set it to the time zone. So in our case, real-time universal UTC time zone, which I have set it with this PowerShell command. Okay, I hope you're able to see. If not, I may have to change the little bit of the font cursor font. I think this should be okay. Yeah. So this is a single line command which we have to execute so that the time set was set to UTC time zone. Okay, there are also few other things should be set it up. So we'll do it right away with you on the screen. Okay, the other one would be the time service which is setting to the automatic. Okay, let me copy paste that. So that sets the time service to the automatic, and this is the power scheme which is setting to the active, like power saving mode should be taken out, because we are talking about the on-premises thing which we are trying to move to the cloud. So if you have these kind of power setting problems or the time services problems, later point you would definitely face problem. So make sure that you actually cover all these things. Okay, and these are the temp system and environmental issues which may occur. So that's why we are setting up these. So these two things are also set, and few of the other best practice services which includes setting to the automatic, for example IP helper, netlogon, netman, LAN manager. So all these services are DNS client. So few of the things which were not there in this machine, like BFE service is not there. Okay, so these things must set it to the proper mode. That's okay. So I have included everything which are whatever it is possible for the best practices. Okay, and then the terminal services, if your mission is a terminal services, you should run few of the commands. Also all these two commands which would set it to allow remote terminal to log on. So I would set these commands, or what you can do is, in fact, this is nothing but your system properties, like from here remote settings, that's where you set the RDP connection. And the port settings, sometimes the terminal service port number might change, so make sure that you cover the port number to 3389. So for that I'm gonna set that command again, once again, to 3389. And then I should also cover my firewalls. User authentication mode, I'm setting up. This is for the user authentication security layer, and this is keeping alive after if it is disconnected, the RDP session. All these are the RDP related, and if you have the maximum instance count, you're setting up here, and this is for the SSL certificate. If you have the SSL certificate, just delete that so that you'll not have any problem. Okay, and this is the this set I can execute as it is, because these all are related to the RDP, which are best practices. Okay, so there's no certificate for the SSL, that's why you got an error. That's fine, just move on that. And next one would be the firewall. Okay, firewalls are very key, right? If the firewall is already enabled, and if you got login when it is move to the cloud, it will be difficult. That's fine. You should be make sure that first thing is firewall should be on. That's fine, but you should be at least enabling the RDP as well as the ping request, which is ICMP protocol. All this should be enabled. Also PS remoting must be enabled, otherwise if you want to run something problem, again it's difficult. So you can run this is already started, so it can be ignored. And the firewall rules must be allowed for the rule set. Once again, I'm typing that. Windows firewall. I'm sorry, this time the machine is very slow for me. So I pressed the wrong dot, that's fine. Instead of enter, I press that. So these are the keys are enabled. Now coming to the boot editing, which is a BCT edit, you need to run in a command prompt. So what I'll do is I'll say exit, so that I go to the command prompt, because this is a command prompt window. If you're already in a PowerShell, type as CMD, that will take it to command, and then you need to enter exit. Now PowerShell, that will take me to the command prompt of PowerShell, and then I need to execute these keys, which are very, very important if you want to do some kind of debugging when the OS got crashed, okay, remotely. So these are the settings which must be set it for the remote debugging purpose. Okay, and then it's your responsibility to make sure that your machine have a proper WMI. WMI is nothing but Windows instrumentation of management, which is the key. Like you wanna query, WMI has the namespaces and classes. Each class will have some attributes, some information will be stored. So when you're trying to pull, WMI must be working condition. So this command will tell you to verify whether WMI is properly exist or not, the entire repository. So that's where we did. That's where we did the WMI repository verified, and it says the repository is fine. So these are all the things which needs to be done. So the first and foremost one would be, again, just to verify whether whatever we have executed, whether it is proper or not. Let's see. Let me go back to the again. The most important for me would be taking to the remote of the machine, right? So in the remote, it says that, for me, I must have to log in from the same network level authentication is enabled. So in my case, I don't want, because I connect from my home, and if I don't have the same layer of security, it doesn't allow me to log in at all. So I'll just take it out this. That's, in fact, we have executed to take that checkbox, but now I've taken out completely. Now the next step. Okay, now we're ready with the image creation process. As a next and the final step, you need to run sysprep. So the sysprep exit, sorry, I was in this, so let me go to the GUI mode, go to the C colon, Windows, and sysprep folder. Okay, system32 sysprep, and this is the command which you need to run. Okay, so I'm just closing everything because I don't want my machine to get into problems. Okay, so let me close everything, all the possible things, and click on generalize. Make sure that you have take the O and shut down. So remember where I'm doing this I'm doing on my Hyperv server. Okay, my Hyperv server, let me show you. So you see here, this is my Hyperv, and inside my Hyperv I have a VM. So that VM hard disk I'm trying to capture, right? So once I capture this, I get a generalized image machine. So as a next step, I have to upload this VM to cloud. Okay, and then out of that I create an image, and then I can simply run it. Now it's running the sysprep, and once the sysprep is successful, it goes to the shutdown state. Okay, so what exactly this scenario? This scenario is like you wanted to make your own custom. I'll show you that. See, if I want to create a new VM, what I'll do, I'll just go to the virtual machines and say, hey, create a new machine by clicking on add. That's where it will show me lot of images which are available from the Azure marketplace, right? So this time what I'm trying to do is, I don't want the images which are created by Microsoft. Instead, I wanted to create my own image, which is in my on-premises image. So for doing that, wait, it's taking some time. It's taking some time, I'm sorry. This has been open for a long time, so let's give a refresh. Great, yeah. So for example, I want to create as a identity server, Windows server, for my Active Directory, for example. So what I have to do is I have to select an image from here, right? So select an image which is available, but I can't do that because let me tell you. Okay, give me a second. For example, if I want to select this, okay, so I have here the images which are already available for certain price. So here the image is standard DS1, which is the operating system is this, right? But what if exactly you have your own on-premises VM, which is this one, and this one as it is should come there, and later point you want to create, instead of selecting some images from the marketplace, you want to select your own. So to do that, what you have to do is go to the image. If you search here, you get this image, right? So in my images, if I go here, what I've done is I've clicked on add, and then added my one of the image which is similarly I captured here, right? So post to this, what happens, automatically the image this machine goes to the shutdown state, right? Once it went to the shutdown state, I copied that vhd file and uploaded to my Blob storage account. So once I have uploaded to my storage account, and I can simply create it. Let me show you that. Assume that I have, say this is just test demo, for example here, test demo as the image name example. Here I can take any of the image. For example, I can take as ADI, and image is specify US example. I have to just browse so that here I'll get the image which I have already uploaded. In this case, I don't have this one, if I'm correct. Yeah. Under this, I have image which is uploaded to my storage account. This is the one, VHDX. So here I have just the VHD file. So I can choose this VHD, okay, and then simply this is the VHDX it is coming. If I have the VHD, okay, I can simply show that VHD file, and then I can create an image. Okay, so this image is a reference image, like in your, you call it as a gold image or is a reference image. Instead of you select from the marketplace, you pick up from your own customized image, and then you can simply create as many as machines. Say example, I followed all these steps and then I got this image. Okay, now click on this image and say create a VM. So another VM is getting created with the help of this VHD file. So as simple as that. Okay, so say create a VM. This will create for me a VM. Instead of I select, I'm sorry for that, instead of you select from other images or from the marketplace, you will select your own image, like Unitech EU image, for example. Instead of Windows Server 2016, you're choosing this. That's it. That's for the end goal. So to do that, what I have done, I hope this went to the this is into the shutdown mode. So as the next step, what I have to do, I have to upload my VHD file to my storage account, which I'm gonna do it. So to do that, what I can do is, the best practice, what I can do is, since this is 127 MB and which is huge in fact in the size, right? So what I'll do is I'll just go to my website and simply I download Storage Explorer. Simply say download. Okay, so there is a tool which is available from Microsoft, which will be used for Azure Storage Explorer, which is managing entire cloud storage can be managed from this tool. It's a free of cost. You can get it this tool for your Mac as well as your for Windows. Okay, so simply run this tool once you have downloaded. So it's running, and once it is executed, all you have to do is you have to install the tool and then sign in with your Azure account. Okay, installation is completed. Click on finish so that it also launches Azure Storage Explorer. Let's open that. So what happens is, this is a simple user GUI based shell where you can log in with your Azure account or SaaS or the URI, whatever the option you have, you can use any of them to log in it. So in my case, I'm gonna log in with my storage account with my Azure credentials, and then I simply upload to my storage account this existing 127 GB file. In fact, this is the file, right? So I'll just go back here. You know why this is file? Because on my VM I have this is a VM, right? So whatever the changes we have done with that PowerShell and the sysprep, so sysprep is mandatory, but even in fact, practically I've tested without sysprep also. It worked for me in Azure Cloud, but Microsoft recommends you to run that sysprep with generalized option and shut it on your VM and then upload that VHD file to your storage account, and then create a VM out of it. Get this path, right? So I'm in the same path and same VHD file, not the VHDX file, because we converted as a first step from vhdx to vhd, right? Yeah, in the storage, what I have to do is I have to click here to add an account. Okay, once I've added as a web login, and then I have to click on apply. Okay, so sign in. Here I'm going to give my user ID and password, which is just too known to me. It's taking some time. I have given my user ID and password with verification code. Now it's logged in. I simply say apply. Now, as the next step, I can use any of the storage account to simply upload my vhd file. So here I should be make sure that on what I'm doing here. Let me check it. What is the file it has? vhd3. This is my blob name. No, so I don't want this diagnostic account. I don't want that. Yeah, this one. How do we realize it? So this is the file. Also, I have it here. Split delete. I don't want any of these. So once I've deleted these, I need to upload it, right? Yeah, once it is deleted, now I'm gonna upload my vhd. So in your case, under blobs, blob container, you may not have a Hyperv V. Okay, so all you have to do is create a blob container. In my case, I'm gonna create. I've already created a blob, and make sure that it should be in small letters only, because that's what it is accepted at this point of time as on March 9th 2019. Simply browse to the VM which is presented by F drive, Hyperv V little hard disk. This is the one vhd file. So I simply click on upload. So if you look at here, it is in a previous state of Azure copy, which is a PowerShell command which will upload with the conversion. So the command what we have used is vhdx and vhd. All that conversion can be taken care by Azure copy, but we don't want to do it. In fact, because we don't really feel it. If you are in front of the computer, it would be great to find exact feel that, I mean, in fact, it's up to you. If you want to do that, you can always do it. Nobody stops, because that is also supported, and the method which I have also shown is supported. Okay, so it's taking some time with the speed of 331 MB per second. So it takes some time. Till the time I will hold or pause this recording. Once it is uploaded, I'm going to create as an image, which I have already shown you. The way I'm going to do is I'll just go to my dashboard or home and simply search for image, and then I'll get some images. Image here, images one. So here I'm going to add that image by browsing. If I'm correct, here Hyperv V. Here now the file is coming up, right? So I'll simply use this vhd file, so that once I've used that, what would happen is I get an image, okay, very similar to this, and then I'll finish all these steps and it will be ready. So that means with the help of that vhd or vhd file, I can create as many as VMs I wanted. Why I'm doing all this is because my on-premises or my VM is treated as the master image or can be a gold image. That means it has all my required softwares and applications, all the files. So whenever I want to create as it is similar to that machine and another image within no time, then I can choose the images is the option. Create image makes very easy and very useful for creating.